Hello and welcome to the Authentic Freedom Virtual Church. My name is Lori Lumby and I'm the pastor and spiritual director of this online virtual community. Let us pause for a moment as we allow ourselves to be open to receiving God's nourishment, God's guidance, and God's support for us in our lives. Shh. Be very quiet. God is speaking. Shh. Be very quiet. God is speaking. Shh. Be very quiet. God is speaking. This is the message from this week's reading from the Book of Kings. When the prophet Elijah wanted to understand God's guidance and God's direction for his life, God sent him up to the mountain. On the mountain, Elijah experienced all kinds of loud, magnificent, and wonderful things. But in none of those things was he able to receive God's guidance or direction. It was not until everything was quiet and still that Elijah was able to hear the tiny whispering sound of God's voice. Shh, be very quiet. God is speaking. What is true for Elijah is also true for us. As we go about our lives seeking for the flashing billboard, the bumper sticker, the blazing lights, the big huge thing dropping into our lap, the synchronicity, the letter in the mail, the notice on Facebook, as we go about our busy lives seeking for God's guidance, well, yes, it might be in the chaos. It might be in the busyness of our everyday lives. It might be in that synchronistic conversation in which we hear about something that we know puts our heart aflutter. Yes, we may hear and receive God's guidance in the cacophony of our 21st century human experience. But the reading from the Book of Kings and Elijah's own prophetic call, in that we are reminded that we must also take time to be quiet, to be still, to listen for the tiny whispering sound of God's voice. And so for today's service, I'm going to invite us into an experience of stillness, an experience of quiet, an experience of listening, where we might have an opportunity to hear the still small voice of God. And so I invite you in this moment to close your eyes and to listen. What's the first thing that you hear? I'm hearing the hum of my laptop. What are you hearing? Perhaps it's the sound of your own breath, the sensation of your heart beating, the rustle of the leaves on the trees, the voices of children playing outside, the hum of the refrigerator as it runs, or the lights as they glow. What are you hearing? When you identify that first sound, allow yourself to move beyond and past that to what might be beneath, behind, or underneath that sound. Take a moment and be quiet. Hear beyond the first sound that you hear and what is there. For me, the first sound that I hear beyond my laptop humming is the kitchen clock ticking. What is it that you're hearing? And now I invite you to go beyond that second sound. After that second sound that you have identified, what do you hear behind, beneath, underneath that sound? Take a moment in silence and listen. If beyond that second sound you hear nothing, congratulations. You have entered into the place where God speaks. So I invite you to continue this exercise, to continue this meditation after the end of this service, to go back and sit in stillness. Listen for that first sound. Go beyond the first to the second sound. Listen to that second sound, and then go beyond that to that place of silence. When you reach that place of silence, simply listen. Listen and be open to hearing what God might be saying to you today. Shh. Be very quiet. God is listening. Shh. Be very quiet. God is speaking. Thank you for your time and your attention and your listening in today's service. And again, I invite you to share this service with others if you found it to be meaningful and supportive of your own spiritual journey. And if you feel so called to offer a financial or prayer donation to Authentic Freedom Ministries in support of this ministry and the things that we offer. And I close this session today with the Aramaic chant that invites us to listen. Avunde Bashmaya, Avunde Bashmaya, Avunde Bashmaya.